Hey, welcome to Amplify, Growing as an Evangelist. We have this podcast to sharpen you. If you are called and serving, whether full time or part time, as an evangelist, and God's using you in any form of itinerant ministry right now, we're glad that you found us. My name's Aaron. I'm co-hosting this along with my good friend Tim Enlow. How you doing today?
Howdy, hey, it's great to see you, Aaron.
Howdy,
Excited about
hey.
the day and super excited about our guest, Peter Reeves.
Let's go.
Woohoo.
Let's go. Let's go. I'm excited about Peter Reeves being with us today as well. God's using Peter in an incredible way. And Peter, I've had a chance to know you from when you were a student in college, and it's when you and I first connected. And excited how God's using you and your wife Joanna in
Thank you.
ministry now. Tell for those that might not be familiar, Peter, tell us what your evangelistic ministry looks like now in this current season, and how you and your wife function in that role.
Yeah, we are. First of all, thank you for having me on this podcast. Really appreciate it. Me and my wife are based here in Orlando, Florida. We both travel as evangelists. Her about 15 to 20 times a year. Really excited for her. And myself, I do about 50 to 60 different events throughout the year. But I am the staff evangelist here at Faith Assembly in Orlando. I am also on two other teaching teams across the country, one in Denver, one in Oklahoma. And so I have these checkpoints around the country that kind of help me stay locked into the local church. Love the way that works, and I get to still speak in the youth environments, which I don't think I'll ever be done that. I think I'm a lifer in the youth environments, but I also get to speak on a lot of great stages on Sunday mornings and different conferences and things like that. So love the way it's going.
So, I got a question for you. All right. So, as an evangelist, what are some of the things that God is teaching you right now? Like, what is
Yeah,
He instructing you in right now, tweaking right now?
yeah, man. I think this is gonna sound so basic, but it's the thing I think about the most, and it's just about personal personal devotion and secrets between me and the Lord that aren't for preaching yet
Mm.
or maybe never. You know what I mean? Like I have these secrets between me and the Lord that I'm like, oh, if you let me preach that, that'll be good. And I feel like I keep running into this. This might be too vulnerable, but God being like, you're not even doing that yet. You
Mm-hmm.
actually need to grow in that yet. And that's between me and you, not between you and the world yet. And so I feel like the Lord's whispering some things into my ear that are for me as a developing follower of Jesus. Uh, and I'm kind of embarrassed to say that, but also I'm just learning it. This is like the
Yeah.
process of maturity. Is like you come around again, you're like, wait, am I doing a good job following what I'm telling other people to do and to preach about? This is what God has been teaching me. I've been using this book called Morning and Evening by D.L. Moody. It's like these really old devotionals that are
Mm-hmm.
accompanied by scripture, and then you read the chapters, whatever. But it's been so good because shout out now I got Chat GPT, so I'll read all these there with alls and thous and whatever, and I'm like, I don't even know what he's trying to say. Boom, I pop it in Chat GPT, and it's like DL Booty saying you're stupid and you need to serve God. I'm like, oh, this is incredible. So I just love the journey I'm on the devotional life. And what God is personally teaching me is about the power of not communicating everything God's speaking to you.
Hmm.
Like that is revolutionizing my life right now, for real.
So, what you're saying is you have to be a Christian before you're an evangelist? What in the world?
I'm just saying that would be the preferred approach.
The
Yeah,
preferred
no, that's awesome.
approach.
And I don't think you ever stop learning that lesson that God works in you first and primarily for you, that you're a son or a daughter before you're ever a minister.
Yeah,
It's refreshing to hear that I'm not
yeah,
the only one on that side.
yeah. Amen.
Mm-hmm. Peter, I feel like you're how God's using you as an evangelist, you and your wife right now is unique. You kind of just briefly said, "Hey, we're kind of partnering with three different churches right now, being a part of their teaching team. One of them,
Yeah,
you're resident there, and the other ones you're non-resident, but you're still part of the teaching team. Is that something that you kind of set out for in your model from day one, or is that just how God led you? And what does that look like, for
yeah.
you?
Yeah, it isn't something I set out for from day one. It's just something that, again, it's been refreshing to our ministry and our soul. Like the way it kind of unfolded is, I started out. Faith was the one that where we are in Orlando, that I was like, man, I gotta be there. I gotta have a pastor over me. But the other two kind of came about as I was like, man, these are people of God that I really connect with. I mean, sometimes you minister in an environment and you're like, these are my people. Like they
Yeah.
understand the way God speaks to me, they delight in it. The difference to being an evangelist, people say, man, where's your favorite place to preach? I'll tell you where the people are engaged and excited about what God's preaching,
Mm.
right? Or what God's saying. So it's like, it's not necessarily the place as much as it is the people that are in that environment. And so those other two places, man, every time I would go, it would feel like home. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. And through conversation and through support, it was just like, hey, we know you can't live here, but we want you to be a part of the regular communication and development and spiritual transformation of our church. And we felt like that was a good fit, man. So I didn't force it. It wasn't like I'm not actively like looking for these teaching roles. It's just kind of unfolded organically and naturally. And so that's been a huge, huge, huge part of just our ministry. And then also, Aaron, I forgot to say this. We have a teaching team of young leaders that we're developing, people that have the potential to travel,
Good.
the potential to lead. And so if you jump on our website, peter-reeves.com or the-reeves.com, you'll see on there that there's other young men and women, some from those churches and some from like that don't, but they have this drive and this desire. That's a huge part of our ministry as well.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Let me pick up on that because I have found that so many evangelists have either formally or informally some sort of mentoring process
Yes.
involved. Why are you passionate about that? And what does that look like for you guys?
Yeah, one of the things I try to do everywhere I go before I preach is I try to figure out how I got in the room. Do you do that sometimes?
Hmm.
Like I'm like, how did I get here, right? And so I start to trace the breadcrumbs of those relationships, and I'm like, okay, I'm in this room because of Aaron, which that's happened a lot. Thank you, by the way. I'm in this room because of so and so, and so for me though, I can trace it back to several different people. The first person I'm in any room because of, right? You think I was going to say Jesus? Of course, Jesus. You don't have to say the obvious, but I mean, I traveled with a guy named Sam Farina. Do you guys know Sam? Dude, Sam is like spiritual godfather to me. I just think that he's one of the best ever. Sam, for no reason, took a liking to me and let me travel with him and carry his Bible in his bags and taught me about life and leadership and marriage, and ministry. And I'm in the room because of Sam. And Sam was amazing. And then I traveled with Pastor Mike Holt, and that revolutionized my life. Totally different man, totally different evangelist. Saw him do things really differently, and so I'm able to like take the parts. It was like Legos for evangelists. I was able to take the
Mhm.
parts I like from Sam, the parts I like from Mike, and then I traveled with Jacob Jester, who you both know. Jacob, incredible communicator, man of God, leader, evangelist for a long time, and learned stuff from Jacob. And so the reason I'm passionate about it is because I'm keenly aware that I am not in the room because I'm good or because I'm talented or whatever. I'm in the room because men of God open the door for me. And
Hmm.
so I know the only way to get other people in the room is now that I have one or two keys is to open the door for them. That's
Come
why I'm
on.
so passionate about it.
Come on. I
Yeah,
love
no
that.
one
What
gets
is
where
that?
they need to be alone.
That's so good. What does that process look like for you? I mean, I'm sure it's a morphing stage always, but what does your present mentoring stuff look like?
Yeah. So we do monthly calls with those people who are on our teaching team. We do monthly calls, and it's my job to encourage them, to help them kind of fine tune their skills and their gifting, not just in terms of communicating or preaching from the stage, but also just what it means to be a great friend to pastors. I don't know if a lot of people want to talk about that, but that is a major part of what God has called us to do, is to take care of staffs as well. And so working with them on that, and then um, as far as engagements come in and things happen like that, we're able to, places I can't go or, I've double booked or whatever. I'm able to send them and send them with a blessing. And, people are learning to trust, like if they're getting sent by us, we know it's going to be good and we're working with them. And so it's just been a blessing to churches, a blessing also to us and our team. And it's just been so fun. But yeah, the mentor process is two-step. It's like we have calls and then we send them and then we, debate debrief, and then we have calls, send them, and then debrief, and vice versa. Kind of that
Love it.
process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so good. So good. What's it been like for you as a husband watching your wife also like chase down a call as a preacher and as evangelist? I'm
Yeah.
interested in that dynamic because
Yeah.
it's rare, I think, not the norm. I would say that both husband and wife travel, and sometimes I'm assuming you travel together, and then sometimes you're probably, going on your own
Yeah.
schedules.
No, absolutely facts. We were just on a little vacation a couple weeks ago in Fort Lauderdale, and then at the end of the vacation, she flew to Minnesota. I flew to Denver. So it was like, okay, we're doing this. Um, but the Lord gave me a word when I was in college, like a freshman in college. Me and Joanne have been dating. What does that even mean when you're 15? But she's the only girlfriend I've ever had, right? She's the only person I've ever like loved, like literally. We've been together since we were 15 years old, just celebrated 10 years of marriage. And when we were 18, God gave me a word and it was a word because Joanne's a strong leader. And sometimes that could be intimidating. I mean, still to this day, she is a visionary. She's a great leader. And so the Lord spoke to me and said, I'm going to use your ministry to be a trampoline for her ministry. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And so I said yes when I was like 18. I was like, okay, God, I don't even know what that means. But now watching her step into all of these things that God has called her to, it has been so fun. First of all, if you know anything about Peter and Joanne Reeves, she's easily the better communicator. Like she is like honestly, I'm not just saying that to try to be like, oh, whatever. She is absolutely brilliant, like phenomenal. Like I'm blown away. Like sometimes I listen to her, I'm like, how? What? We were talking about this. You didn't say any of that,
Like, oh,
So
I'm writing that. I'm using that
right.
next
Yeah.
time. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
bro. I love when we go somewhere we're preaching together and I get to go first. I just say all this stuff. She's like, you didn't say you were gonna say that. I was like, well, too late. Now you can't say it or else you look like a copycat. No, but she has a unique calling on her life. It's been so fun, man. She does things differently from me, as far as the way she kind of leads and preaches and connects with leaders, and it's just been fun to watch. And we don't try to force each other to do it a certain way, and so it's humbling as well too because I have to spend way more time working on what I'm working on than she does, and that in itself is humbling. But it's been fun.
Oh, I love that. And watching couples minister together and sharing ministry is something that my wife and I are passionate about. But it's also so unique too to see the different callings and different ways of fleshing that out.
Yeah.
And what does that look like for you guys in managing a family then, since both of you have ministry schedules and stuff? I mean, what are some of the things the Lord's shown you on that, or priorities
Yeah.
or lessons or?
Yeah. When we first, because again, we grossly underestimated how much travel
Mhm.
this would be. Okay. So the first thing we did when we got here in Orlando is we're like, okay, we need our families here. My mom at the time was in Michigan. Joanna's parents were in Philadelphia. And that was our prayer for like 6 months when we got here. We're like, Jesus, move on our behalf, send our families here so we can do this with some support. And what you know, he's faithful. My mom moved here, her parents moved here.
Come on.
And so we
Wow.
have built what we call the built-in babysitter. Okay, built-in babysitter,
Yeah, that's
the
good.
bib. And
Yeah.
so honestly, that has just been so refreshing. Not just that family to watch the kids, but family to be support, for us to go over to and to spend time with. And they're integrated into the life of our church here. That was the first thing. The second thing is we strategically, I mean, nobody told us this, but we just build in, like we book ourselves too for rest.
Mm.
So the person that gets the first access to my calendar is us, and we book ourselves. She's like, "Hey, I booked you and me hotels. You're speaking to me that week. You know what I mean?" So, and I'll be honest with you, like it is funny, but also it allows me to prepare for the conversations I want to have with my wife that week.
Hmm. Hmm.
You know what I mean? Just like I would prepare for any other
Yeah.
engagement, I prepare
Yeah.
for that one.
Yeah.
And so we do that. That's been really helpful. And then also, man, I'll tell you this is we have learned to say yes as a family. I know this sounds insane. What I'm about to say sounds crazy, but we literally will get all of our engagements for the year, put it before our kids. They're 4 and 2, and we'll start talking about it. We'll go, "Do you think we should do this?" And my daughter will be like, "Nah," and I'm like, "Do you know who that is? That I need to go there. Do you see? Do you see what it says right? You know what I mean?" But and so the reason we do that, just reality, the reason we do that is so that when I'm gone and our daughter, she'll be like, hey, you're going again. We'll be like, remember we said yes as a family? And she's like, okay, Dad, let's pray. You're going to that. I want them to be excited about what
Yeah.
I'm doing, not just like, yeah, whatever. And so realistically though, me and my wife sit down and I'll say I want to, and she'll say you can. And you're like, is that a permission thing? Like, is that no? Because I want her to know I'm going to be sent not just by my pastor, not just by mentors. I'm going to be sent by her. Right?
Yeah.
It's
Good.
a lot easier to deal with the nuances of being gone if she sent me versus if I just went. So that's a huge part of us navigating that as a family. So I would say our family moving there, us booking ourselves, us, saying yes as a
Mhm.
family. Those are things that are really important to
That's
us.
so good.
Come on.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Hey, Peter, I wanted
Yeah.
to ask you. One of the things I love about your ministry is it's very focused in some ways on how God has called you to partner with multiple
Yes.
churches. Like in the teaching pastor role, but then you also have like this focus on developing younger communicators and evangelists, and then also this focus on speaking at youth events and other churches. And God's also given you and Joanna a huge heart to resource foster families. And
Yes.
Mm.
so, would you mind just unpacking what that looks like right now? Because I think it's inspiring what you're doing.
Yeah. I'll say this, man. If you ask us what we're the most passionate about, uh, in the ministry scope of our life right now, it's foster care. I think revival's coming, and I think it's coming to homes.
Hmm.
I think
Mhm.
people opening up their home and saying yes to people, to children that otherwise would be displaced in other places is the revival that's coming. I think the greatest preachers of the gospel, the greatest doctors, the greatest whatever are coming out of people's homes. People that that they've just the orphans and widows that Jesus told us to pay attention to.
Yeah.
Anyway, so me and my wife, we were foster parents. Our story of infertility is a long one. But we were foster parents, and we saw the impact and the power of having kids that we did not give birth to in our home. We only
Mm.
had them for 2.5 years, and the transformation that occurred was so eye-opening to us because we had been pastors for like 6 years up to that point, and the most spiritual transformation we saw were in the kids that were in our home.
Hmm.
You know what I
Wow.
mean? And so for us, we were hoping to adopt them. The story goes rogue, and there were some different things because of COVID back then and what happened, and we didn't end up getting to keep them. But God really birthed something in our hearts for foster families, foster parents, and so we started a Reeves Initiative, which accompanies our ministry. Every time we go to a church or to an event, we're able to connect with foster families to
Yeah.
help meet their needs. We help from everything from lawyer fees all the way down to household items that they might need, like beds and cribs and things for school backpacks and
Hmm.
wagons or whatever. And our goal right now is to help resource foster families and foster students, and to also help churches start foster ministries. I don't know the exact statistics, so I won't botch them, but it's pretty equivalent. Like the amount of foster kids in the system, there's the same amount of churches in America.
Hmm.
And so
Mm.
if one foster family from every church in America would say, hey, we could do one, man, we wouldn't even have a foster care system. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I am really passionate about seeing foster kids receive the gospel, and to know they might not know their parents, their father or their mother, but they can know their heavenly Father. It literally, I would quit everything to if I had to not. That's like my number one focus. I tell people all the time, I preach so I can talk about that.
Hmm.
I just feel like that's God's heart.
Come on.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it, Peter. I love it. I love your passion and where you guys are placing value and emphasis in your own personal lives and in the ministry. And we just constantly hear such powerful results and reports of your ministry. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for being faithful to the call of God, and thanks for your
Thank
transparency
you.
today.
Yeah.
If somebody wants to reach out to you, how can they do that? What are your socials or?
Yeah, just peter-reeves.com. That's like our main website. All of our resources and our ministry information's on there. And then our Instagram, mine and connected to Joanna's, but it's Peter A. Reeves. Please send us a DM. We'd love to talk to you. We'd love to help you in any way we possibly can, but that's where they can find us.
And what's the website for Reeves Initiatives?
Yep, it's blended into our
It is.
website. It's like peter-reeves.com or the-reeves.com. Either one. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thanks so
Yeah.
much for your time today and for your investment in other people. Man,
Thank
we
you.
love you. And
Yeah.
thank you for those watching or listening to the podcast today. Man, we're so excited and thankful for the hand of God that's on your life as you serve as an evangelist. I pray that you don't feel alone, but that you feel the tribe around you, because truly you're a part of the army of God, and He is so faithful to help us. I hope that you'll consider mashing the subscribe or like button. So next time, whenever content comes your way, that you're able to find that. And we just pray God's best and blessing on you and upon your family and upon the ministry that He's called you to. See you next time.